Welcome to MILF.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Jennifer.
And we are two moms into literary freedom. Hey, Jennifer, I have a question for you. What are you going to do if Bill Clinton is found out to be in the Epstein files?
I am going to go on with my life like nothing happened and expect him to go to jail along with everyone else.
How dare you? What do you mean? You don't have a Bill Clinton Bible? Is that what you're
No, unfortunately, I don't have any Bill Clinton merch to like throw out and burn.
You don't have a Bill Clinton flag flying out of the back of your triple XL Ford 5050?
No, I don't have one hanging up in my room either, unfortunately.
I have a Hufflepuff flag, as you can see. I
think you're safe from the Epstein files.
If Cedric Diggory was in the Epstein files, I would be so sad.
That would be heartbreaking. Yeah. That'd be a hard one to swallow.
I do want to point out this Hufflepuff flag is not mine. I'm forced into one of my kids' bedrooms because it's summer vacation and I can't have the living room.
That's funny. That's okay. I'm forced into my room because the birds were so loud last time.
Yeah, they were really loud. They were. I think that was distracting though. But speaking of those, and we know we have listeners. I've done the numbers, and I know you guys.
Thank you to all 5 of you.
We're not sure. Podcasting is so hard to actually determine like the authentic audience that you have, but I know we've got like at least a couple hundred. So thank you for listening to us. Like we love it. And like we said, we were able to make a little bit of money to buy things like better mics, which I'm using right now. Yes. Actually, I stole it from my husband, but whatever. All of our money is the same in this house, so it doesn't matter.
Right. What's his is yours, and what's yours is yours.
Exactly. Yes. But anyway, thank you to our listeners. But if you can like engage with us on social media a little bit more, it would help us like understand a little bit like who our listeners are and how many there are. And if you think the birds were distracting in the last episode, tell us.
Right. Let us know. They were to me, though, even if they weren't to the listeners. Mm-hmm. Because I think the mic might have hopefully tuned most of them out.
It did a good job. Yeah.
To me, they were driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even now, they're driving me crazy. But the door's shut, so hopefully the mic isn't picking them up today.
Yeah. No, I don't hear anything. So I think we're good. But, follow us on whatever social media of your choice. We are on YouTube. Sometimes we get lots of views on YouTube. Sometimes we get no views on YouTube. It's a real crapshoot. I really don't know. Same with like TikTok. Like we posted a video on TikTok that did really well, and then it got like 4 views on YouTube.
Yeah, you never know where or what's gonna pop off.
And that's not how social media used to be. Yeah, it used to be more predictable. So whatever, it's fine. We'll survive. We'll figure it out. But yeah, how about those Epstein files?
Yeah, do they exist? Like. Who knows?
Have they already been burned? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it's so frustrating.
It's incredible to me that, how are you going to tell us that they're sitting on Bondi's desk 1 minute and the next be like, what files? No. Are we still talking about this? Mm-hmm. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's terrible. But, what's even more, telling or just like surprising to me, or not surprising, but just infuriating is the right word. Mike Johnson, right? That's the right name, right? Mike Johnson.
That's the speaker, right?
Yeah. The guy in charge, right? How is he so in control and so efficient when it's about taking away Medicaid in food assistance for children and for people in need, not just children, for people in need. But it's a fucking shit show when we are trying to reveal the pedophiles who are running our country.
Right.
Mike Johnson, are you on that list?
Right. And who else is on there?
Right. And if he's not, like, I'm sure, it's maybe a dozen or so high profile political figures. Mike Johnson's probably not one of them. I don't know. But
right.
What are they doing to you, Mike? Like, what are they bribing you with? What are they threatening you with? Like, that's my question is like, how has Donald Trump been able to keep all of these Republicans in line so well? Like, what are they so afraid of? And I'm not saying that they don't have a right to be afraid. Like, maybe they're truly afraid that like their family is going to get murdered. And I know that's extreme, but like, if I were to put myself in their shoes, like that would be what would keep my mouth shut, as if they were threatening the safety of my family. That's the only thing, though.
But these people are power hungry. So also the fear of losing that power, that might keep them in line.
Because they're fucking psychopaths and need power.
And remember, Epstein kept, like evidence on all his clients or friends, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, frenemies. They're more like frenemies.
To keep them in check. Mm-hmm. So, birds of a feather, Trump probably does the same stuff. Yeah. Maybe, Yeah. That's just my...
That goes back to the age-old question of, is he a genius?
Right.
Is he an evil genius or is he an evil idiot? And it's looking more like, and I hate to say it, but it's looking more like he knows how to. I mean, he's been elected twice. He's the fucking president.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to play the system. He's an evil genius.
Yeah, like he's smart. I would call him maybe like more in his, not street smart, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what evil, I think the word evil really means. Is like, if you are described as evil, there is an implication there that you know how to be evil. Like you can't, like dumb people aren't evil. They're just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of dumb people that are just, they're not evil. They're just sort of ignorant is a better
word. Right.
And I feel like such a bitch for saying that, but it's like, how else are you going to describe someone not condemning genocide of children?
Right.
Or a pedophile, So,
yeah. I mean, well, did you see they're taking away, there was like a law that made it mandatory for the Catholic Church to report sexual abuse.
Oh, and Trump is taking that away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Among other things.
That's a weird thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and along the same lines, I just saw that the ACLU posted this, and I'm sure they're going to, if not haven't already sued in response to the next thing that the Trump administration has done, which is making it illegal to be homeless or an addict or have mental illness.
Which is very Nazi-like.
Yes.
Like it's pretty much saying, and of course, remember that they call all the left nut jobs. We all have mental illness, Mm-hmm. It's starting to get a little scary. That line is starting to blur.
Scary. It's getting scarier. Yeah, for sure. But hey, I have some goodish news, I guess. Okay. Because I like to balance it out a little bit. Because it can be all doom and gloom. And yes, this is the darkest timeline. Like this is the darkest chapter. And it's not looking like it's going to get any better. But Ireland is the first country, and I just saw this today, so I'm assuming it's relatively new news, but it's not going to be on the news that we consume. It's not going to be on like mainstream media, but Ireland is the first country to what's the word I'm looking for? Something about exports, to ban exports to and from Israel. They're cutting Israel off.
Wow.
Yeah. And this doesn't really come as much as a surprise to me as someone who, it has Irish lineage, right? I mean, as an American, I don't really know my lineage, but I do know that, like, I can trace it back.
Right.
I can trace it back through my grandmother to an Irish immigrant named Richard Riley. And he came over, I can trace it back to 1845, which was during the famine, the Great Famine, right? And so the Irish, the Great Famine is like a very complicated topic that we're not, again, it's another one of those things we're not really taught the true history of. But it's like, most people say, oh yeah, all the potatoes went bad. Well, it's a lot more complicated than that. Like they were oppressed by the British for a very long time. And as a result, like there are still, Irish, activists that will engage in hunger strikes because of, you know, their history of being oppressed and literally starving,
Right.
like we see in District 12 in the Hunger Games, right? Which is what we're going to talk about at the second half of this episode. We're going to talk about the final book in the Hunger Games trilogy, but also what we're seeing right now in Israel or in Palestine, where Israel has weaponized starvation. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, the potatoes aren't growing and people are starving. Sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. No, it's we're starving you on purpose, is what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. Yeah. And so I've been reading a lot about the Irish famine and the history about that. And I would like to cover a book that is actually a very unique book because it compares the Palestinian struggle with the Irish struggle. And it's not technically a banned book, but it would be banned because it violates the Stop Woke Act in Florida, right? So it's a book that's like would never be allowed to be in a school system in Florida and many other states that have similar legislation. So that's on my list of books to cover. But the whole point of that is it's not a surprise that Ireland is the first country to do that.
Right. No, the Irish have always been very opposed to what's going on. Yeah. And they've been very loud and vocal about it. So we can learn a thing or two from them. I mean, France has also been like when they protest, they go hard.
I know. Yeah, for sure. And also Scotland. Apparently, Trump is like going on a golfing trip to Scotland, I guess. And so I'm pulling it up in my stories right now because, oh yeah, here's Ireland becomes first European country. Oh, maybe it's just European country to pass a law banning imports from Israel. So I'll put that in the show notes. But also, Ireland's one of their newspapers was like, felon and suspected pedophile is coming to golf in Scotland instead of like president of the United States.
Right.
So
yeah, I saw that. I love that.
Saw that. Yeah. There's also an Irish poet, and I'm gonna try and find his name real quick so I can tell you about it. But he is how I found this book about the Palestinian and the Irish struggle. So his name is Sean Watmore. He's on Instagram as Sean Sean Watmore Watmor poetry. And he's how I found out about this book. He's a Irish activist, fighting for Palestinian rights through his poetry and his platform. And anyone with a platform at this point needs to be using it because this is unprecedented. Like our anger, our outrage is completely validated. And if you're not outraged, you're not listening. And if you have a platform and you're not using it, you're complicit in your silence.
Correct.
So yeah, follow Sean Watmore. He actually wrote a poem about Rosie O'Donnell too.
Oh, really? Oh, because she's in Ireland, right?
Yeah, she fled, I guess, because she can, and obviously she's got Irish roots. She's born in Boston, I think, but she has several kids. I think one or more are a part of LGBTQ in some way, and so for their sake, she went somewhere safer. And Trump is threatening to take away her citizenship,
right?
Yeah. So Sean Watmore wrote a poem about it. You'll have to go. I don't have it in front of me, but it was pretty good. So visit his Instagram and check that out. Follow him. He's awesome. I love him. But yeah, what else were we talking about? Epstein files.
Yeah, we were talking about the Epstein files. Who could be on it? What else did we mention? We were talking about Gaza. You were saying something about AOC that I found very upsetting.
I'm gonna use this as a segue into the Hunger Games because we can never cover all the things that we want to talk about because there's just too many things. But yeah, I don't know. Drop us a note on social media if there's something specific you want us to talk about. Because we just sort of banter back and forth and
right.
As you can tell, forget what we're saying. But we're gonna segue. we're going to segue into the Hunger Games, but to answer that question about AOC. But before we do, I do have another bit of good news is we have a interview scheduled for the month of August when we cover the picture book when Aiden became a big brother. So we'll do a junior episode on that picture book. And we're going to also have, someone's calling me. Let me decline that phone call. We also are going to have someone come on the show and talk about their story, which I don't want to reveal too much, but she was a school counselor at a Catholic school who got fired for posting a pride flag on her social media. So
it wasn't even in her classroom.
No, I think she had a pride flag in her office, but she didn't even like have it posted like on a wall, which I can't even believe that in today, like that's a huge red flag, if you will, like, or right. A target on your back as an educator to put a pride flag. Like there was a brief window in maybe the early 2000s where you could get away with that and not
right.
Like I had pride artwork in my classroom that students would make, and I would just put it on my bulletin board. You know, like I never had a pride flag.
Right.
But I displayed pride artwork, and that was right before I resigned to have my third baby, but was also sort of fired for teaching gender fluidity to my advanced placement environmental science juniors and seniors.
How dare they find that out, right? Like,
right.
You know, that's what they want. That's why we have so many people who only say there's only two genders and there's this and that. And then when you mention something to them that discredits that, they're like, what?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. I'm like,
yeah, like actual science, which science is under fire too. But that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, her name is Miss Annie. You can follow her on Instagram. I think her handle is just MISS and then Annie, ANNIE. Oh, she's Miss Annie .school counselor. That's her handle.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to find out her full story. She's she's a mom of two, and I think she's kind of in between gigs at the moment. But we'll find out her full story in August and talk about her bravery and how more people need to be like her. But also they, need jobs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so on that note, let's jump into Hunger Games 3, also known as Mockingjay, and why AOC is kind of like President Coin. So, spoilers, I will tell all in the next 20 or so minutes when we talk about this book. So if you have not read the third book, then turn it off now.
I have not read the third book, but I'm going to stay.
Yeah, you're getting the cliff notes. You can read it again. But so anyway, the book starts with after the quarter quell. So do you remember the quarter quell?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where they bring back, right?
All the victors have to go back.
Okay.
Which is like, no, they already won the Hunger Games. They shouldn't have to go back. So that was book 2. They all had to go back. Up. Yeah. And that's when we find out District 13, which was the destroyed districts, right, is supposedly gone, right, is not gone. And they are, alive and kicking with like tons of nuclear weapons and like a huge system. Like it's very like, it's like military. It's like very, very militarized, like everyone has, there's so many rules to follow, but it's like rules like everybody gets food, you don't get extra food. You get this much food based on your weight and your activity levels, so like larger people get more food, more active people get more food, you're not allowed. It's like you get punished if you steal a piece of bread, which happens to Katniss's crew from the Capitol, like her makeup crew. Like, what are their names again? Like, I forgot, but they like Lavinia or something, like who's the guy that died? Cinna, yes.
All I can think of is the actor, and I can't think of his name either.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah. But see, I'm not good with names, so I'm like, wait, that guy. I can't believe
I pulled that from the depths, but I did. So Cinna dies at the end of the second book, but he's a part of like Katniss's beauty crew, basically, which are they're from the capital. So their like skin is green and they have like golden eyelashes and like all kinds of crazy stuff because they're used to like exorbitant lifestyles where they can eat all the food that they want, so much so that they can drink like special liquid that makes them throw up the food so they can eat more food, So anyway, they end up coming back to 13 along with Katniss, who was rescued at the end of book 2 from the Hunger Games, Quarter Quell. Peeta was not rescued. He was taken by the capital, Panem, and a few others were rescued along with Katniss, like Finnick and Johanna, other victors. Hey Mitch made it as well.
TikToker, right?
Oh yeah, TikTok. So Beatty and Wyrus and Beatty, also known as Nuts and Volts, they were like the smart victors, right? And they made it too. Wyrus died, but Beatty made it. Yeah, so she was the one that kept saying TikTok, TikTok. But Beatty made it, and actually he's really important because he like uses his brain to create these weapons that District 13 wants to use against the Capitol, right? So the book, do you remember this? Oh, because if you didn't read the third part, but you watched the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember when Beatty and Gale were like making a special weapon that was like supposed to be inspired by hunting animals? So it's like you give the animals this like false sense of comfort. Like you throw a rock at a bush and it's like the animal's like, oh, I'm going to run away from that bush because that's where the danger is. Right. And then a bomb goes off where they run. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's like what Gale knows because he's a hunter, right? Right. Because in District 12, they have to hunt to survive. And so he tells this to Beatty, and then Beatty like designs these weapons that District 13 is going to use in the rebellion against the Capitol. Okay. All the meanwhile, Peeta is being tortured by President Snow, and his brain is basically hijacked by the Tracker Jackers, which are these like mutant wasps that like put like poisonous venom into his brain. Do you remember?
They make you like hallucinate, right?
Yeah. Do you remember what happened with him?
No.
Okay, it's okay.
No,
You're gonna have to watch the movie.
I do. I think I really do because my memory is just not what it used to be.
It's okay. Neither is mine. But what happens to Peeta is they turn him into a killing machine where he wants to kill exactly one person, and that person is Katniss. So he takes all of his Snow takes all of his memories and turns them against him and tricks him into thinking Katniss is bad. Right. Okay. And so they go and rescue Peeta, and then immediately Peeta sees Katniss and tries to kill her.
He's like, you bitch.
Yeah. Right. So that's like, the whole book. And it's a real bummer because we love Peeta, but Peeta's gone in book 3, essentially. We get him back at the end. We get him back at the end, but he's like gone for book 3. So anyway, what does President Coin have to do with all this? So President Coin is the president of District 13. And right from the get-go, Katniss does not trust her. And neither does my daughter, who was reading it with me. And I'm just like, no, that's a red herring. Like the whole time, I thought President Coin was a red herring. Okay. Right. Here comes a spoiler. President Coin is not a red herring. I think Suzanne Collins, the author, named her Coin because, like a coin, you flip a coin, you don't know which side you're going to get. Similar to when you're electing a leader, you don't know, is that leader going to do the things that they said they were going to do in their campaign? Right. Or are they going to do the opposite? Right. So that's sort of where Coin comes from. And while I'm reading this book, I'm sort of hesitant and not sure about it, where my daughter's like, no, she's evil 100%. And she's right. Because at the end of the book, it's revealed that she's just as bad as Snow. She's an authoritarian as well. And there's like little hints that are dropped throughout the book, like the food, like you get punished if you take an extra role. Like that's not a good leader. Right. Right. And the author does a really good job at sort of glossing over that. So when Katniss's beauty crew is rescued again from the Capitol because they need the beauty crew to make Katniss look beautiful when they make these propaganda commercials. So another big part of the book is them making these commercials that Beetee is hacking the Capitol TVs, to like put these commercials on so that the Capitol can see that all the districts are rebelling.
Right.
Look at how powerful we're becoming.
Yeah.
Like, don't try and fight us. Like, we're gonna win. So Beetee's doing that, and so they need the beauty crew to make Katniss beautiful. And Katniss like doesn't know that they're there, and she like accidentally finds them because she hears screaming from like a room, and she finds them like all half naked and chained in this room in District 13 with just like, and again, Suzanne Collins is an excellent writer. This isn't even YA. Like, this is amazing writing. And she really paints a picture of like how tortured they were. They're like living in their filth, like there's a drain in the middle of the floor, like where their waste goes. And they're like emaciated and beaten in District 13 because they took extra bread.
Right. Like, that's a little harsh.
Yeah. So that's President Coin, not Snow.
Right.
Yeah. And so, not to say, and I want to make this clear, I'm not saying that AOC is an authoritarian or a tyrant, or that she would do anything like that.
Right.
But I couldn't help but draw parallels between the Democrats in District 13. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get you. Because, yeah, they haven't stepped up like they should have. You know who that makes me think of too? Fetterman, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think he was New Jersey. He's the one that had like a stroke or something.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track. They're all just Democrats that claim that they're doing something, and maybe they do one thing in like every couple of months, and then it's like back to being complicit.
But AOC, I expected better. So what did she do? Because you told me earlier, and I know it has to do with Israel, but and it's a letdown.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull it up just to make sure I get the right information. But 6 days ago, AOC voted against cutting U.S. aid to Israel. So I guess there was a vote saying, hey, we need to cut aid to Israel. AOC said no. Okay.
Just so...
Mm-hmm.
Like, she defended... I thought she was against sending funds to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so...
So it says she emphasized ending U.S. support for munitions used in Gaza, but not defensive systems. So defended her vote against the amendment that sought to cut $500 million in U.S. military aid for Israel's air defense systems, including the Iron Dome. So the amendment, introduced by Marjorie Taylor Greene, aimed to eliminate funds designated for Israel's cooperative programs in the annual defense appropriations bill. I just, like, what timeline are we in that AOC's voting against Marjorie Taylor Greene? What the fuck?
Well, that she's voting against Marjorie Taylor Greene tracks, but what they're voting for is what's weird. Although I will say, I am not shocked by Marjorie Taylor Greene wanting to cut funds to Israel, because there is still a lot of hate towards the Jewish community.
Okay.
From like far right MAGA. Yeah. So that does track.
Okay.
I think where we have to separate though is I'm okay with ending all funding to Israel that is going towards genocide.
Right. Let me go on to read this, because first of all, let me just preface by saying, like, all this is a very complex issue. And if we just read a headline, AOC, whatever, voted against cutting aid to Israel,
right,
without reading the article, then that's not good, which is basically, I'll admit, is basically what I did. But and she's not getting off here. Like,
no, right.
But let me just read, her quote, because she did, at least she wasn't like a lot of politicians that don't even comment, like, no comment. I'm not going to tell you why I voted on it. Like, she's at least like trying to, defend herself. So here's what she says, apparently. Explaining her vote in a post on X, AOC said Green's amendment does nothing to cut off offensive aid to Israel, nor end the flow of U.S. munitions being used in Gaza. She argued that the proposal would have only eliminated funding for defensive systems, such as the Iron Dome, while allowing continued funding for offensive weapons. She said, "Of course I voted against it. What it does do is cut off defensive Iron Dome capacities while allowing the actual bombs killing Palestinians to continue." She emphasized that her focus remains on ending the flow of U.S. munitions used to perpetuate the genocide in Gaza, adding that she does not believe adding to the death count of innocent victims to this war is constructive to its end.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe there's more to the story. And
right.
She was like a bad example to use. But
which we also know that if they eliminate the dome and they do get attacked, they're going to cry about it, which I'm not saying that any life lost is a bad thing. Innocent lives. Let me clarify, innocent lives. But they're going to use it as like, they're going to weaponize that attack as not vindication, but like justification. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
For their acts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And like we said, this is not a simple black and white issue. It's very complicated, but this isn't the first time that she has faced scrutiny. In April 2024, she voted present on a separate $1 billion Iron Dome funding bill, drawing criticism from both supporters and opponents of U.S. policy toward Israel. She expressed frustration with the rushed legislative process and described an emotional reaction on the House floor, stating, "I wept at the complete lack of care for the human beings that are impacted by these decisions." So I feel like I should definitely kind of backtrack here and say that she's not President Coyne in this sense, now that I'm reading the context. but you know, Blake would probably say otherwise, in that she needs to sort of like be a little bit more outspoken in how do we end this, right? But at the same time, we're not in her shoes. We don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Maybe like she is. So this is kind of my interpretation. Tell me if this makes sense to you. She's saying the Iron Dome is there to protect the Israeli people. Is that what she's saying?
That's what I took away from what you said.
Okay.
The citizens, you know, like I said, the innocent lives.
Right. Okay. And that's being twisted or maybe misinterpreted by people like me that she's supporting Israel's genocide. But on the flip side of that, other people will say, no, we need to condemn Israel 100%. Like, why are we still helping Israel protect their citizens? Right. And
I am kind of on that board. Not that I want innocent lives. Right. But we need to put pressure on Israel to end this. Exactly. Stop. But by funding anything, we are kind of still
supporting the war.
Yeah, right.
And AOC maybe had to make a bad or a very hard decision here where she, in her heart, feels like, no, you know, we need to stop the war, stop the starvation and the death, the genocide. But at the same time, she made a hard decision. I can't say I would make a different decision from her if I were in her shoes, because I'm not in her shoes and I don't have any idea what I would.
And I don't know how those things work. To me, like a simplified version to me, and maybe it's too simple, right? Is, okay, you want to keep your dome? This is what you have to do to keep it, you know? You have to stop bombing. You have to stop killing Palestinians. You have to let aid in, or you're not getting this money.
Exactly. Yes. And she should have set, I would think, and again, we don't know because we're not there, you would think that so that's the side that I'm on. I'm on your side, Jennifer. We should start our own Congress.
But you know, sometimes we think of stuff like that and it seems simple.
But it's not.
But I guess, I don't know.
No, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't think so. I think that's completely reasonable. And I don't know why that's not being done. But I don't want you to sell your idea short because like I feel like we are sort of being tricked into thinking that's the kind of thought process we should have. Oh, we don't understand. We're not Congress people. Right. But like, no, it's not that fucking hard. Right. Give them food and then I'll give you your Iron Dome.
And you know what people are starting to realize too? I think we've given we've given billions to Israel. Israel, meanwhile, has Medicaid for all. You know, they have health insurance for everyone. They have free university
education.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's kind of crazy that, and I'm not like one of those like, oh, America first, you know, America, all us, but how are we funding other people's education and health insurance and all of that? Not our own. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying let's do it all. You know, we should have it and they should have it.
Sure. If you want to be up Israel's ass, fine. But make sure we have free healthcare and education as well.
And make sure they're not killing anyone. You know, like that they're not committing genocide.
Exactly.
There should be like a hard line in the sand. Like, if you're committing genocide, we're going to have to cut ties with you.
Okay, so let's bring it back then. So maybe AOC is President Coin. I don't know. Like, you can see how we're oscillating back and forth. And you know, this is why books are so important. You know, like, and this series especially because it's so accessible to young people, you know, teenagers, whatever, and having these conversations like in a classroom setting about the government would be so beneficial and build so much critical thinking skills and create young people that actually like have a leg up when it comes to making these complicated decisions or understanding how these complicated decisions are made, you know. But that's so far from the truth. That's not happening in public schools, and we are at the bottom of, or we're not at the top.
Just going to get worse.
And we're supposed to be one of the if not the most powerful country in the world. How is our education system so shitty? It's because we are an authoritarian country and we're just now realizing it. We're like the last ones to know that our boyfriend dumped us.
Right. That he's been cheating on us the whole time.
Everyone else is down. But yeah, so back to Coin. So in the book, back to Beatty and Gale, right? They're designing this weapon, right, that will result in the loss of innocent lives. And Gale and Katniss have a conversation somewhere along the lines of like, Katniss is like, but innocent lives will be lost. And Gale's like, but it's for the greater good. And and they're like, let's agree to disagree. Is essentially what happened. And so that's sort of what we just talked about. Right. With the AOC debate. And so she ultimately voted to protect the Israeli lives with the Iron Dome, I guess. But at the cost of Palestinian lives, essentially, one could argue.
Right.
And so I'm just seeing that kind of pop up in this book. And the bomb that Beatty and Gale create gets used by President Coin at the end of the book. Okay. So here's where I'm going to drop the big spoiler. So fast forward to everyone being in the Capitol fighting, right? So they make it to the Capitol. Everyone's fighting. Katniss has one mission. It's to kill President Snow. And so everyone's doing everything they can to get Katniss into the White House, essentially, to kill President Snow. And so on their way, they notice that there's rebel fighters, like the good ones, right? They're supposed to be on their side. And they're just killing innocent people in the Capitol, right? So we're talking like, if Israel is Panem and, you know, the rebels are I don't want to say Palestine, but America, right? Because it's Americans, right? The Americans or whatever are killing the innocent Israelis or the people of Panem, right? And so Katniss sees a rebel take out like a little girl in like a canary yellow coat, and she's like, I just couldn't get the yellow coat out of my mind, because why did they do that? Why did they kill an innocent little girl in the Capitol, right? And so she gets to the White House and she sees all of these children corralled in these like concrete barricade, and she's like, she thinks, oh, President Snow is using children as a human shield.
As a shield.
Yeah. And so, you know, she gets closer and she's like trying to figure out how to get in. And then all of a sudden a drone with the Capitol seal comes out of nowhere or a spaceship, whatever, I don't know what they're called, aircraft, and drops these silver parachutes, right? So if you remember from the Hunger Games, the parachutes come down and then there's medicine, food, supplies, right? So the kids get super excited. They're like, oh, they're lulled into this false sense of security, like the deer, right? And so they're like thinking they're getting food and toys and medicine. They open up their canister and half of them go off as bombs, right? Not all of them. Half of them are detonated to go off when they open. Okay. And so that just results in just, mass injury to these children. Right.
Right.
And so Katniss is like, oh my God, I have to go help these kids. She sees Prim because Prim is a doctor now, or not a doctor, but studying to be a doctor.
Right.
In District 13. So she's like, how did Prim get here? And remember, Prim is only 13 years old, but like she's got a really strong knowledge in medicine. And so she starts, assisting first aid to these kids, and Katniss is far away and she sees Prim and she freaks out and she screams Prim's name and whatever. Just as she sees Prim and Prim turns around and sees Katniss, the rest of the bombs go off and then Prim dies.
Oh my God. I don't remember that. I don't think that happened in the movies. Did it?
It has to. It's like it's the whole backbone of the book because I haven't even gotten to the end yet. So
damn, I'm gonna have to read this. I'm going on a road trip, and I think that'll be a good book to play.
Yeah.
Because then the kids can listen to it as well.
So my daughter
hate me for playing an audiobook.
Oh, it's so good. They're gonna love it though. They'll love it. So
I know one of them will. I know another one's gonna gripe about it the whole time.
Whatever.
Too bad.
Can't make everyone happy. But my daughter knew the whole time that Prim died. And
she had a spoiler.
Yes, stupid Pinterest. And I'm like, don't go on Pinterest. And
yeah, you can't look it up.
So she tells me, and I'm like, how dare you tell me that? And I'm like, fine, just don't tell me how or when. And she's like, please, I want to tell you. I'm like, no, you have to live with this by yourself.
You know what I like about getting old?
What?
And my memory going?
Yeah.
I can reread a book and it's like the first time I read it. Because before I would start to reread a book and like I used to have like that kind of memory that immediately the story would just come tumbling back.
Right.
But now I'm like, I don't remember any of this happening. What?
Same. And that's the same goes with like movies that I'm like, I can watch that movie again. But I used to be able to remember every detail. I'm sure the wine doesn't help either.
No, right. The lack of sleep, the wine, all of it.
Don't take away my wine. I'm just going to lose my memory.
That's right.
Oh man. Anyway, so my daughter thought, so late, we finished the book. I'm like, so what did you think happened? She's like, I thought Gale killed Prim. Like the spoiler I read was Gale killed Prim. Like Gale did not kill Prim. Gale designed the bomb that killed Prim.
Right. So unintentionally, he did.
And, because for the greater good, innocent lives are going to be lost. Well, guess what? You just lost Katniss because there's no way in hell Katniss is going to choose Gale after that.
Right. And I think the whole coin thing, too, is kind of saying you think you have this guy, right? And he's bad. But the flip side is just as bad. Like both sides of government, all extreme is bad.
So at this point in the story, Katniss is like, fuck Snow, he killed my sister. Okay,
right, because she still thinks it was the Capitol. She doesn't realize it. Oh my gosh.
Hold on, let me find a place in the book and I'm going to read it to you. So Katniss pretty much goes crazy as you would expect, which is another amazing thing that Suzanne Collins does is like she really writes accurately in my opinion, basically, which is not saying much, but about how you would act if you experienced so much trauma. She loses her mind, so to speak, right? And so she's just sort of wandering around the White House. I forgot what it's called. I'm just going to keep calling it the White House because it works.
Right.
She's like wandering around the White House, like after she's healed from her injuries, I think. And she comes across these doors that are guarded by two men, and she knows she needs to go in there for something. Like she just feels like she needs to go in there, and they won't let her in. And then Paylor, which is another side character who ends up being kind of a bigger character, but she's like I don't know, she's working for the rebellion, and she's she's good. Like she saved a lot of lives. Like she really puts herself, like Coin doesn't put herself in combat, or she doesn't put herself in harm's way, but Paler did. Like and that's how you can tell if someone's a good leader. Like if they weren't a draft dodger, like President Trump, for example, like they were actually in the military and they actually saw combat, right? Which is Paler. And so Paler sees this and she's like, let her in. And they're like, okay, fine, we have to listen to you. So they listen to Paler and they let Katniss in. Katniss ends up in the greenhouse where President Snow grows all of his fancy long-stemmed roses, which is another theme throughout the book, are these roses, right? It's like his signature are these roses. Right.
The white roses, right?
Yeah, and so she's like wandering around, and then she sees him. Snow. He's chained to a chair in the middle of this greenhouse, and she can't believe it, and Paler knows that he's in there. So I think Paler's like, I need her to go in there. I need her to talk to him, right? And so they banter back and forth, whatever, and then he says, I wanted to tell you how very sorry I am about your sister. And then, so I'm just going to read the paragraph. Even in my deadened, drugged condition, this sends a stab of pain through me, reminding me that there are no limits to his cruelty and how he will go to his grave trying to destroy me. So wasteful, so unnecessary. Anyone could see the game was over by that point. This is Snow speaking. In fact, I was just about to issue an official surrender when they released those parachutes. His eyes are glued on me, unblinking, so as not to miss a second of my reaction. But what he said makes no sense. When they released the parachutes? Well, you really didn't think I gave the order, did you? Forget the obvious fact that if I had a working hovercraft, that's what it's called, not a drone, a hovercraft, at my disposal, I'd have been using it to make my escape. But that aside, what purpose could it have served? We both know that I'm not above killing children, but I'm not wasteful. I take life for specific reasons, and there was no reason for me to destroy a pen full of capital children. None at all. And then she leaves, whatever, and she starts to think about things, and she says,
hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm not with Snow now. I'm in special weaponry in 13 with Gale and Beatty. So she's like in her head, like she's like going back to when Gale and Beatty were designing these weapons. Looking at the designs based on Gale's traps, they played on human sympathies. The first bomb killed the victim. The second, the rescuers. Remembering Gale's words, Beatty and I have been following the same rule book President Snow used when he hijacked PETA. So that was like, for me, the whole twist in the book was like, oh my God, Coin is just as bad as...
Right. Now, what was the purpose of killing the rescuers that were her people, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it was... So Coin was trying to trick people into thinking Snow did it. And so she was securing her position as the future leader of Panem and basically just making sure Snow looked as bad as possible. That's the only thing I can gather. And maybe someone else has a better interpretation of that, but that and that Coin is evil. It's like, so It's double. It's like, oh, Coin is doesn't care about this loss of life as long as it benefits her. So
and also probably by killing her own people, she could still be like, look what he did. He's horrible. He killed these children. We try to save them. Mm-hmm. Okay.
In Prim too. It's like, she's like, I know Prim will be there because Prim is 13 and she's not allowed to be in the rebellion because she's too young. Right. They say that in the book. Like you have to be at least 15 or 16 or something.
She purposely said Prim.
She's like, oh, hey, Prim, you can go. And of course Prim wants to go because that's the kind of person Prim is. But so in the author, doesn't explicitly say this, but I think the point of this is Coin knows that Prim is going to die with those parachutes, and Coin wants Prim or Katniss to be as angry as possible so that she will kill Snow or that whatever, so that they have to look to Coin to be the next leader. And that's, like you said earlier in this episode, people are power hungry. They become they're
Yeah.
they're sociopaths that just want power. Coin is just as much as a sociopath as Snow.
Right.
The Democrats want just as much power as the Republicans.
Right.
And so I wrote some stuff down. Hold on, where is it? So we already talked about how, you know, siding with Israel can be used as an example in this. But also not expanding the Supreme Court, slow action on voting rights, hesitating on filibuster reform. Those are other examples of things that the Republicans could be doing. The Supreme Court, that's the big one to me. It's like, expand the fucking Supreme Court if you are so anti-Republican or like on the opposite spectrum. You're not. You're too central.
Yes, that's what pissed me off with Biden. Because Biden could have set us up so that we weren't so screwed.
Obama could have done it too.
Obama too, yeah. I mean, so many Democrats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and again, are they playing nice or are they trying to keep things the way they are?
I think they're trying to keep things the way they are because they're power hungry and they benefit too, you know, with the lobbyists lining their pockets because they just want money, and they're just like the people in Panem. They want themselves to be taken care of first under the guise coin. Like it's coin that like living in the Capitol essentially. Another thing would be the Mockingjay, which I'm holding up my book so anyone watching this can see. You know, the bird is the symbol of the resistance, right? Another like a parallel to this would be, do you remember when they all put on the African cloth and kneeled in like the
I'm thinking you meant the books, and I was like, I don't remember.
Oh, sorry, the
yes, I know what you're talking about when the protests were happening for again, I'm bad with names. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I say his name all the time. During the Black Lives Matters protests.
After
George Floyd. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was
during that time, right?
Yes, it was around that time. Yeah. So congressional, this was in 2020. Yeah. Yep. Here it is. I just found the article. Congressional Democrats criticized for wearing kente cloth at an event honoring George Floyd. And they fucking kneeled too. Like they were like these like amazing people in power, like that we should like idolize. Like, fuck you. What are you doing? Like, what is kneeling going to do? It's just like holding up those pink signs too.
Right.
I forgot what that was for.
That was when he addressed not the State of the Union speech, but it was something similar.
And they said no or something like that. Or they all wore pink and solidarity. Like all of these symbolic gestures are worthless and they're not helpful. Such as Katniss being used as the Mockingjay. Like Coin was so adamant on like creating these videos of her as the Mockingjay and just sort of using her as a symbol instead of going out and fighting herself, right? So I think that kind of makes sense. But okay, so fast forward to the end of the book. Katniss is ready to kill President Snow. She loads her arrow and she's got it pointed at Snow. Last minute, she turns and shoots Coin. Coin dies.
Okay. Okay.
Because oh shit, I forgot.
But she's already got the other one in chains. He's tied up.
Oh yeah, he's like coughing up blood. Like he's been coughing up
dying
blood since the second movie. Like he's definitely
because he's like terminally ill, right?
Right. Yes.
And the roses were like keeping him alive, like the poison.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I do kind of remember that.
Yeah, and then but a very important point that I kind of glossed over was that right before this happened, Coin has all the victors in a room, and she's like, "Hey, we need you to vote on something." Some of us think that holding another Hunger Games for the Capitol children would send a clear message to the remaining survivors in the Capitol that we're in charge now. Because there's a lot of Capitol survivors and they don't, rather than kill all of them, they want to send them a message like, hey, this is how it's going to be. And we're turning the tables on you. Okay. So it's 5 people in the room. It's Katniss, Peeta, Haymitch, Johanna, and then Beria, which is a career victor. She's the one with the sharpened teeth.
Okay.
So it's the four good, quote, good victors, and then the fifth one who she survived.
And she's a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they're all crazy. But anyway, so it's
right.
So it's 3-2, right? And basically it boils down to Katniss and Haymitch's vote. Of course, Peeta and Johanna, or was it Annie? I don't remember. May have been Annie. I don't know. They say no, right? And Katniss is thinking about it, and she's like, at the last minute, she says yes for Prim. And the reader's like, what the fuck, Katniss? No, you can't actually think that's a good idea.
Right.
So as the reader, you're super confused. And then Haymitch, Haymitch is always like, he's figuring it out. And so he's like, I'm going to go with Katniss on this. Because I think Haymitch knows that something's about to happen. And so they all vote yes. So then it's like, okay, Hunger Games is going to happen now with like President Snow's grandchild being in the Hunger Games as like vengeance or whatever.
Right.
And so the next scene is Katniss is supposed to be killing Snow, and then she kills Coin instead. So the Hunger Games don't happen.
Right. She realized what was up.
Mm-hmm.
She knew then that this was not a good person.
And she was like, I'm just going to vote for what Coin wants and then kill her so that we can.
Right.
Which was so smart.
Right, because if she would have said no, she probably would have found a way to kill them all.
Yeah, because then Coin would have been like, oh man, I got to take care of this.
Right.
But Coin was lulled into another false sense of security.
She did her.
Yeah. Into thinking that she had Katniss where she wanted her, but
she forgot Katniss is a hunter too.
Exactly. That is why this book is so amazing. I also cried a lot. Like the descriptions of death were just they were too on point. And I read later that like her dad is a historian and told her a lot about war. And so like Suzanne Collins knows a lot about war, and you can see that in her writing. It's reminiscent of what's going on right now in so many parts of the world. But anyway, I cried a lot, and then of course the epilogue just tore me up. But I'll just save the epilogue. It's not crucial to the plot. I'll save the epilogue so that you at least have a surprise when you're reading.
Okay.
So I won't say anything else about it.
Yeah. And I do need to read them because I have her latest book, which is the
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That one.
And that's the origin story of President Snow.
Right. And we just watched the movie with the kids. I didn't want to watch it because I wanted to read the book.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
But they wanted to watch it, so I was like, okay, fine. I will say, though, I've heard a lot of people say that book is excellent as well. You're going to cry when you read it.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. So, but I was waiting
to take a little break.
Yeah, I have it already, but I was like, I'm going to reread Hunger Games and then, or read it. I'm not sure now if I
just read the third. You should read the third book. I'm
going to have to start at the first one, though, because I know, like, my brain is not with it. So I need a refresher.
It's a really good series. Like, it's hard to read at points, but like it's not as hard as some of the books we've read, like Out of Darkness, for example. Like that was such a hard read, but an important read, but yeah, I mean it's dystopian. So I do want to read one thing that Plutarch said that I underlined because I thought it was just so important. But this is after Katniss realizes that it's over. She says, "Are you preparing for another war, Plutarch?" I ask. "Oh, not now. Now we're in the sweet period where everyone agrees that our recent horrors should never be repeated," he says. "But collective thinking is usually short-lived. We're fickle, stupid beings with poor memories and a great gift for self-destruction." That's humanity.
Yeah.
That's all.
You nailed it.
Yep. And then I underlined a bunch of stuff in the epilogue, but like I said, I'm not going to read all that. But it's good. It's worth it. It ties everything together. It makes you feel okay. I mean, yeah, you might have a long cry, but yeah, that's Hunger Games.
Yeah,
book 3.
Yeah. That was. I mean, it sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think all these books are so relevant to what we're dealing with, so they're important to read. Like you said, there's something that the kids can understand.
Mm-hmm.
A good way to have conversations with our children. And there are just good stories. Like, I'm excited to go back and read them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe I'm like reading too much into the whole like connection to the Democratic Party, but like I feel like the insufficient action against the growing authoritarianism while maintaining, you know, like this facade of like being defenders of democracy is just like, to me, it's becoming a lot more transparent. It's like,
yeah,
what are you even doing, right?
Yeah.
You know, so like, is the opposition truly revolutionary? Like, is District 13 truly a rebellion, or are the Democrats truly rebelling, or like, you know, against this MAGA cult that we see in our country?
Right.
It's just a reshuffling of power under a different name.
That's all it is. And I think a lot of people have been saying that for a long time.
Oh yeah, my husband, no effect. Any punk band that you listen to, like,
yeah, we're starting to wake up to it, you know, hopefully. And I don't know, maybe a little too late. Maybe not. Maybe there's still time.
Yeah,
we need some of that Katniss energy,
right?
You know, and
yeah. But like, not one person. That's the other problem I had with this. It's like, you can't put all that on one person.
Right.
Sorry, did you hear that?
No.
Oh, my sister was FaceTiming me. No, a psycho called me because I just declined the call. So she's going to, I'm going to call you 4 times in a row. But that's okay. I think we're done here.
Yeah. I think we reached the end.
And you're going on vacation. So we're not going to do another record. I think probably our next one will be when Aiden became a big brother.
Okay.
So I'm
going to bring my computer with me and see if I can get online. And if we can get our days coordinated. If I can, cool. If I can't, I'm going to miss you guys.
That's okay. I mean, it's the end of July.
Yeah.
And I've got, you know, back to school is always a pain in the ass and big deal. But, you know, I think, you know, we'll be back early August, mid-August.
Mid-August. Okay.
Yeah. We're also trying to get Miss Frazzled on, remember?
Yes, that would be amazing if we could do that.
Yeah, her contact, we haven't actually talked to Miss Frazzled, but her contact said August. So August might be a big month for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So also join the Patreon. We don't have anyone in there yet, but we're hopeful that we can have, you know, build our Patreon family, and we can do lots of things like monthly book clubs. And I don't know, whatever else you guys think we should do in Patreon. Right. That's our major idea is a monthly book club right now, but also merchandise stuff if we can get there. But.
Yeah. And then follow us on TikTok, on YouTube,
Instagram,
Facebook, I think Threads too.
Threads, yeah. Every time we post to Instagram, it posts to Threads, I think, and Facebook, and because fucking Zuckerberg owns all of it. And then and then Blue Sky, if you hate Zuckerberg. We're on Blue Sky too. So don't ban books,
ban bigots.
This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer and Courtney.
You can listen to the MILF for Books podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or literally any podcast app you want.
Check out our MILF for Books YouTube page. That's MILF, 4, Books. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky at MILF for Books. Again, that's MILF, 4, Books. But follow us on TikTok at Moms Into Literary Freedom.